Next level. It's awesome. Wow, what an amazing presentation. Brendan Duplessis never fails to amaze everybody. That was phenomenal. Absolutely amazing presentation. Anybody who doesn't have belief that the patch works, they've got to put the patch right here. That's where they got. That's where they got to place it. So fantastic job, Brendan. Absolutely amazing. So we're here, obviously, it's towards the end of March. We got so much great things to share. We're super excited. Obviously, Greg and Mena were here. Well, actually, let me stop this here. Stop. Pause. Stop. There you go. So one thing that's awesome is that obviously we're helping people get to the next level, and we're super excited about helping everybody here on this team do that. And so we got a lot of stuff going on, amazing things happening with the business. More importantly, a lot of things happening with changing lives around the world. We could just spend the next hour on just some of the testimonials that from just this past week, but we want to basically share some great stuff with you guys today. So if you guys have obviously some wins for the week, we're going to start sharing that in a little bit, but we want to share a couple things first. Obviously, this is March 24th. Believe it or not, it's amazing. We're part of the This Is It team, obviously with Ken and Diana Burke. And also, obviously, all the amazing team with Steve and Gina Mayer. It's pretty amazing to be a team that we're part of. I'm sorry. Let me make my wife co-host. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So you want to say hello, sweetheart?
Yeah, we just want to say hi to everyone. Thank you for joining our Next Level Leaders team meeting. And just if everybody could stay on mute, if you have not muted yourself, please do mute. I'll be making sure everyone is muted. But we got a lot of stuff to share, so we want to get through that. But we also want to give people an opportunity to share for wins of the week. So
so we're going to cover some stuff pretty quickly. But again, some of the contests that are going on, and if you haven't heard, there's another one on top of the one we just had. So it's pretty amazing. So obviously we're following the path all the way to the top of the mountain. We're helping everybody go with us. So today we're going to talk about AAA. So no, can't do better than AAA, right? So once again, attitude, activity, and accountability, and which is a big part of everything that we do in this business and just in life, if you understand how things work. And so, I've always say this: your drive is derived by your dream and your belief that you can have that dream. Our dream was to go senior president director. Now our dream is to bring all of you with us and actually recognize you this year as senior presidential directors or whatever you want to accomplish. Obviously, we want people to dream big and thrive in 2025. And this is the year of acceleration. So you might recognize this next video. I like having quick videos of acceleration. So check this one out.
I feel the need for speed.
So I feel the need for speed myself too. So this is Acceleration 2025. This is the year of acceleration. We're going to talk about attitude, activity, and accountability. We're going to talk about the Dash for Cash contest. Obviously, the double blessing, the 1 week contest that just got launched worldwide from the corporation, which they never do that, which is pretty amazing, right in the middle of this Dash for Cash contest. And then obviously, talking about give a boost, get a bonus. And the last thing we're talking about again is attitude, activity, and accountability. So one of the first things obviously with Dash for Cash, you may have heard about this. We are now in the second week. We got 5 different prizes, once again, totaling $6,250. Fifth place, $500, fourth place, $750, third place, $1,000, second place, $1,500, first place, $2,500. I know a lot of people on here have been running, and they've actually have a lot of points on the board. So we're going to encourage you this week, not only put points on the board for this contest, but there's another contest we're going to talk about, also with that.
yeah, and just make sure you're tracking your points, because I think it's the 6th of April. You need to submit your tracker to us. If you have signed anybody up that's brand new, and you have anybody that's brand new rank, you are getting points. Okay, so track your points, submit your tracker at the right time. Otherwise, you're not in the standing for that any one of those prizes. And there are a lot of you who have a lot of activity going on, so make sure you're tracking.
Yeah, so how we earn points, again, you get 3 points for signing up a new premium, 2 points a new advance, 1 point for a new core enrollment, 3 points if you rank up to another position personally, but also if you help someone rank up to the next position during the contest period that you signed up starting from 3/17. So if you signed up somebody last week and you help them become manager, you get 3 points. If they go manager and director, you get 3 points and 3 points, right? So whoever has the most points wins the contest. Second prize, obviously the second most points, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through all the details. This is all on there, but you need to submit the stuff by 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is I guess midnight.
It's,
Basically
11.
Monday on the 7th.
Midnight South Africa.
Yeah, it ends basically on midnight, April 6th, but you got to track it to us 24 hours later and send it once again, depending on who the person is. My wife is the one going to be tracking this for everybody, and we're going to verify all the points. And we talked about this already about Final Matter. Once again, we stay focused. We're going to have a Team Zoom on Saturday, April 12th, announcing the winners for this contest. But wait! There's more. We got an announcement yesterday while we're at church. Literally, my wife saw something that Ken shared with us, and we're like, what? And it was like amazing. So the corporation during this time, we contacted the corporation. They said, oh, we're not going to roll out anything during this time. But we're so glad they did. So give a boost, get a bonus. Starts today. It started already today, March 24th through March 30th. Once again, 2025. So this is something that they're doing for just the advanced and the premium enrollments. So the advanced and premium upgrades as well. Like our contest doesn't have anything to do with upgrades. We want to keep it simple. They're going to reward you from upgrading people. But if you sign up in advance, you get an additional $75 this week. Once again, they're going to pay it out in 30 days. But again, this week you get credit for the extra 75. If you sign up a premium, we've had several people that are signing up premiums today. They get an extra $250. So I was talking to Brendan about this, and I was like, not bad bonus on top of the money you already make. So in this case, it's $655 basically what you earn by signing up a premium up front, plus obviously all the points and everything else. But if you actually help people go from, and they used to call starter, these called silver, bronze, silver, different things like that, but they now have the different names for these. Obviously with what we have now is basically a core to advance. You'll know now if someone goes from a core to advance, you get an extra $40. You get someone who's basically was a silver, and they basically it's still rated as a silver back when they had those silver packages. You basically get the different additional bonuses with this. All the contest details should be in your email. And then the premium, you can make up to $250 on that. I mean, the lowest level is having someone basically go from in this case, an advanced to a premium is $175. So that's additional $175 on top of what you normally have. No, I said advanced to premium. But again, there's all these different things because they get different names. So it's a little confusing for people.
Well, the bottom line is upgrades, you're going to make more money. If you start new people, you're going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So,
but does not include core. So if you sign some other core or any way else, there's nothing for this. This is for just advanced and just
premium.
Yep, absolutely. So all the different rules and regulations are on there. I'm not going to go through all this, but once again, where it starts and when it ends, obviously US, Mexico, Canada, obviously the different countries in there. But take a look at your information that was sent to you. So let's go. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness. So if there's a week that you want to run, if some of you might be praying, going, Lord, I need some extra money, guess what? He's answering your prayers. There's two different ways to make extra money, and it's pretty huge. So it's pretty awesome. The other one's unlimited, so it's pretty cool. So again, talking about the attitude, activity, accountability. We've already talked about extra cash, double blessing. We're going to talk about once again the attitude, activity, accountability. But we want to talk about some people that have actually advanced this past week. So Meta, if you want to talk a little bit about this.
So we do recognize every rank, but the most important rank with anybody that gets started is manager, and we actually are teaching about manager making machines, triple M's, because that is the way you go from 0 all the way to SPD. When you know how to go manager, you know how to help people go manager, and you know how to go SPD. It is simple. SPD, if you don't know, that's Senior Presidential Director, the acronym for it. So we all get started. What is a manager? We all get started. And in this instance, if you want to rank manager, which is the first rank, Mark and Sahi Hernandez, they did the training on Saturday, and they said that people should go manager within 48 hours, okay? Now, when we got started, we pretty much didn't have a system. But nowadays, there's a system. It's so simple, it's so streamlined, and you can get manager done so quickly. So you get
4 people you love.
You get started, and you get started at the advanced level. And the reason why we say advanced or premium is because those are the 2 levels that will open you up to max on the comp plan. You cannot go manager if you're a core. If you're a core, you want to upgrade to advanced, you want to upgrade to premium. But once you're there, you want to help 4 people, or call 4 people at least, right? The day you get started, make a list and call 4 of those people that you really love and care about, and get them started. 2 on the left, 2 on the right, at the core level or above, and also remember, monthly subscription, because otherwise they go inactive and you will not be ranked anymore. Once you've done that, you are now a manager. That is the building block. The system is the cement or the mortar that holds the blocks together. Now you just keep implementing the system, and we go and help you to make two of those people, four that you put in, manager. We do exactly the same thing. We speak to 4 people that they love and care about. They go manager. You add another core or above on your left, a core or above on your right, and you are now a director. It opens you up to more money on the comp plan. That's all those rank names do.
Yep. And so the money that you can scale up, obviously, our goal is to help people get manager done, help them break 2 managers, help them then help those people do the same thing. Now you got 2 directors, become a senior director. I always highlight this one because a lot of people, I tell people that's when we see this for everybody on our team, making at least $1,000 a week residual. We have people that are actually hitting director or even a manager that are hitting that because they have the right kind of structure. But when you start really getting senior director done, that's consistent, growing from there. This is a 6-figure income all day long executive. And once again, multiple 6-figure income. And this is where people are making crazy money. So again, we want to help everybody get senior presidential director. That's the goal. So we got a couple new managers. So Men, if you want to talk about the new managers.
Yeah, so we have Roxana Leon. This is under Brendan Duplessis, Gary Burke, that whole line of sponsorship, and Veronica Canaday. I don't see her on, and neither Roxana. So, we're in the middle of our workday here in the US. So people those that are on, thank you for being on. Roxana Leon is a new manager out of the USA under that line of sponsorship. So then we're excited about Rick and Ellen Frizzalone because they actually went manager pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
And they are in the line of sponsorship with Dennis and Delora O'Brien, who actually sponsored Rick and Renee Eretz. And now Rick and Ellen Frizzalone are managers under Rick and Renee Eretz. So, it's very, very far down on the line of sponsorship.
Yeah, we started with my daughter, which went to actually Ricardo and Heather, went to
David and Amy,
which went to
Dennis and Delora, Rick and Renee, Eretz, and I mean, like 6 people down from us. We don't even get paid on their on a matching bonus on 6 levels, but we're excited.
Yeah,
because what happens is that volume flows up. And everybody benefits.
Yeah, and so we're always excited, even though they couldn't be here today. Again, we want to recognize them and let you know things are happening. It's amazing, everything that's going on, and we want to let you know other things are happening here in the States. We always tell people, once again, Steve and Gina Mayer are starting another road tour, and they said, we're going to go to Dallas, Houston, West Palm Beach, and Orlando. So the one thing you want to think about is who do you know in these areas? Who do you know in Florida? Who do you know in Texas? Because again, usually Florida's a big state, but Texas is even a bigger state, but usually those people know people in Dallas or Houston. At the end of this month, obviously Steve and Gina are going to be there, and then at the beginning of the month they're going to be in West Palm Beach in Orlando. We got a bunch of people on our team that are going to be tying into West Palm Beach. We're tying in to Orlando along with the team there. And also about Orlando, very imperative, is the English speaking meetings at 7 and the Spanish meeting is at 8. The reason they did it this way is because the Spanish meetings always go very long, and sometimes the Spanish meeting's at 7 and we're like waiting outside till 8:30 to basically get in the meeting. So again, they're doing that just the opposite this time. So we're doing the English at 7 and the Spanish at 8. So we're gonna have English and Spanish people there in Orlando. And of course, we have a tour that we're doing. So we're actually gonna be down on April 5th. We've been going down, talking to Gary Burke, talking to Veronica, talking to Denise Velez, talking to all the people on our team in basically Southeast Florida, and said, hey, we're gonna go to what's considered basically Lehigh Acres, which is really Fort Myers area. It's on the west part of Florida. Hollywood, Florida is near Fort Lauderdale, which is near Miami. So we're going to be obviously in South Florida for one day only. We're basically at 12 o'clock going to be at Robin Lisa's house, and we're set up another meeting down 5 o'clock and a 7 o'clock Spanish meeting at the same place down in Hollywood,
English
Florida.
and
so
Spanish meeting.
Yeah, we're going to Hollywood. So anyway, so we're very excited about that. Not California, but Florida, Hollywood, Florida, which is cool. So I don't know if you want to share this real quick. I had this on here, but if not, okay. So
I think a lot of people have seen the testimony with Andres Schumann.
That
was an amazing testimony, and
and
he's been using the patches since March of 2023.
Yeah,
he started getting results his 4th day, but I mean we're now 2025, and he water skied for the first time
He could hardly
since
even hold his head up,
since
couldn't brush his
he's-
teeth, couldn't do anything.
since his
Yeah.
Parkinson's diagnosis. So, you know, the thing is, people ask, how long do I need to wear the patch? Well, do you think he's complaining about wearing the patch for this long? He was diagnosed with Parkinson's 4 years ago.
Yep.
And now he's back on water skis. He is so elated. His wife is so excited.
Yeah.
You know, he's not complaining about the $100 that he's spending.
It's like, oh my gosh.
He's like, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying my life.
Oh my gosh, he's
Praise
living his life
God.
again.
Thank God for the miracles.
Yeah.
So this was the most recent update
It was
of
yesterday.
Andre.
No, Saturday. So
On
it's
Saturday, they posted that.
saw
It was
that. It was like-
absolutely beautiful
Yeah.
to see.
See the updates of what
He
happened.
couldn't even keep his head up
No.
when he was on our Zoom the
Yeah.
very first time he got started.
And so also you might have seen this just it was on March 22nd, 2025 just happened also this weekend is actually Ken and Diana Burke were actually put into the Business for Home magazine, highlighted their story. I highly recommend it. Taking a look at that. I believe it was posted on Facebook on the This Is the Team. But again, a great achievement for them and obviously being recognized, you know, for that, which is pretty awesome. So congratulations, Ken and Diana. So obviously we get the Next Level convention coming up. And this is something that, again, I played the video, you know, from that when we first got started, if you jumped on or whatever, but they got Stephen G. Namira did the highlights from the Rise Up convention that they did in Vegas, and we were there, and that was amazing. But we're telling people, if you can get there in person, you know, shift your calendar around, do what you can. The first hotel is already sold out. The second hotel is starting to fill it fast, and they're going to be selling out the tickets very, very quickly. So you want to scan that for that specifically. I'm not going to play the video again, but I was going to say this is something that they're going to have a presidential summit on the night before, so the Thursday, August 7th, we actually just changed our reservation, so we'll be there for that. We want everybody to get presidential done. Worst case scenario, get you know, senior director done, because in the afternoon, the next day on that Friday, they're going to have a senior director and above leadership meeting. This is going to be a whole nother story of a leadership meeting, but the leadership meeting for senior directors above. So being able to spend time with the leaders, all the This Is It team leaders that you've seen, that you've learned from, you're going to get a chance to meet them in person and realize these people are amazing, and everybody that we've met, we're just like, this is an awesome team to be part of. And then on Saturday, all day Saturday, and then basically the non-denominational church service they have on August 10th. And again, the pricing is still at a discount until March 31st. So we're encouraging everybody. Again, if you can be there in person, book the room and then let us know. We're keeping a tracker. We have a whole tracker now of all the people that are actually have bought tickets and are going to be there in person. But if you haven't let us know that you got a ticket yet, please let us know so we can add you to the tracker. And next week, we're going to show the tracker so people can go in and actually add their name for that, and then basically put the names of the people that are going to be with them on that as well, which is pretty cool. So we got pretty audacious goals for how many people we want there, and they're going to be opening up very, very soon. So they got the ticket only availability also through the Next Level site, the convention site they have, so you can get just a ticket. But that's for people who really live in Orlando that can drive back and forth. Even if I lived in Orlando, I'd still probably staying at the hotel, because again, you don't want to leave, you want to be with everybody, which is pretty cool. So that's what we usually recommend. So again, you want to scan that. So next, obviously, we love hearing wins for the week. So once again, the to-do list for this week again is win again, and win some more. So we'd love to hear from some people.
There's a lot. There's a lot to win.
Yes, there's a
lot
lot of stuff to win, especially this week with the extra money that's available. So again, I would love anybody to unmute, share some different stories. I could pick on a few people because we've heard some great things this week, but we'll say raise your hand or unmute yourself, and please tell us the wins for the week, things you've learned, things that have happened. We'd love to hear from some people. That would be amazing.
I will raise my hand.
I can come to you, Carlos. That's awesome. So yes, please go ahead.
All right. Yeah, very good week. Last week, I got one new partner. She's going to be signing in today. And then I was late to the call today because I have another person who's going to be signing up. So it's one per week. That's what I want to do every week, you know, kind of getting on. And it's been very good. Glenda has done amazing. We had a really good last week as well. She put me on some Zoom calls. So very positive, and you know, just it's very cool to see how many people are just benefiting from the patch. That is just very rewarding. So pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that because those are wins. Every time you're helping somebody and the stories that are going to come from that are going to be huge. So that's absolutely fantastic. So awesome. Thank you for sharing, Carlos. Anyone else? We'd love for anybody else to share as well.
Like to share if I can.
Yes,
Oh,
hey,
absolutely. Yes.
Cassius.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in Spain. I have a house here. I have a builder who has really much pain in his back and is really overweight. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we can.
He built from the Loxton. It's cut it out 3 days ago, and he has used it for 3 days now. And he wrote to me today that his pain is gone. From he's huge, he's so big, and he has had so much pain for a long time. And now he said it's amazing. So it's so cool. I just wanted to share that. I'm so happy.
Wow, wow,
Isn't that
wow.
awesome?
Thank
I love
you.
that. When you share that and people share what that is. So where in Spain are you? Where are you located?
I am in Malaga, quite near Malaga.
Fantastic.
I'm in Sweden as well, and London,
Yes.
but
Yes.
right now I'm in Spain.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing. And yes,
Thank you.
You're like, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep moving. You're moving. Great
The thing is,
job.
I have just been out running, and now I'm walking up towards the mountain again, where my house is. So,
Okay, good.
but thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for
Thank you
sharing
for
and
sharing.
keep unpatching. You're getting even more testimonies. That's amazing. I love when somebody
Yeah, I
says,
tried to. My PT here in Toro, I have just started to speak with him about the patches, and he's really interested as well. So maybe he will, maybe he will use it, and then he can share it with his clients. Who knows?
Awesome.
Great job.
Fantastic. Your
Awesome.
energy is contagious. So keep on sharing that energy, keep on smiling, and you'll find people that will want to hear what you're doing. That's amazing. That's awesome. Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
So
you.
much. Thank you.
Awesome. Fantastic. Anyone else? We got time for one more. We'd love to hear any other wins for the week. We'd love to hear anything that's going on. So, and I've heard from several of you. So if you're being shy, don't be shy, please. Mr. Brendan Duplessis, yes, please.
Okay, well then I guess I'll just share. Well, I think just a win for the week is I think it's been very exciting that we have the opportunity to win this competition, right? And the Dash for Cash contest thing is something I think we must really take serious. At the end of the day, this isn't, we're not competing against 10,000 people and your shots of earning it are like, oh, so small. I mean, there's probably maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 people, maybe less than 40 people, I don't know. But, there's not that many people that are actually taking this serious. And, this is the second week and it's only Monday, and every day you wake up, you have every hour you can do something. And that's the other thing. People think that their day must just run away and I was so busy. But when you walk into your car, as soon as you get in your car, if you walk into the toilet, there's always a minute that you can use to send something to someone. And if you just take 10 minutes out your day, you send a 1 minute voice note or voicemail, whatever it is, to someone, like those seeds are going to be planted. And I think a win for me was I try to do that every day. And I think the biggest thing that's this competition is making us do is I would say meeting new people. That's another thing. This when we say that this is a network marketing company, people think so funny about that. But when we say network, we're talking about this is the best tool you can use to increase your network. And your network is your net worth. And if you have a tool that you can provide people that's going to accelerate your network, why don't you want to maximize that? And we can make extra money. Plus, LifeWave is paying us double. I mean, that's double on top of what we're already earning, and we already earn well. And you got cycle bonuses and matching bonuses. I mean, oh my word, that's just a win. Every day we get to do LifeWave. That for me is just a win because what a great opportunity. And we get to partner with such amazing people. And again, everyone's looking awesome on the patch. Keep it up. It makes it work. Anyway. Thanks.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's amazing. Like I said, just talking to people, I had 2 instances last week that I had someone that said, hey, would you be willing to substitute me for BNI? And I always pray before I go into the meeting. I'm always praying on my way. I'm walking way out of my car. I said, oh Lord, I'm asking for divine appointments. I'm asking you tell me who you want, who you want me to connect with. And I always say, draw people to me. So when I walk in the room, I got there early. I'm like going, nobody's here. I'm like, oh, the meeting must start a little bit later than I thought. And so I got there and I said, I'm set from like the 3rd row from the front. I said, it's probably leadership that's sitting here. I'm going to sit right in the middle, mess them up a little. Anyway, so I set myself down there. And then Lily, as we're talking about the meeting, a guy sitting next to me started asking me, well, what do you do specifically? And I had the patch right on my arm. So I always wear it when I'm at at a meeting like that. And I said, are you familiar with this? He goes, no, what is this? It's a stem cell activation patch. He goes, stem cells? He goes, what does it do? And I explained to me, he goes, can I buy some from you right now? And so I literally pull out my form, set it on the table, and as BNI is going on, I slid it over across to him. And he basically filled it out, signed up right then and there. That was called the divine appointment. I had 3 other one-to-ones I set up there, so it was 4 one-to-ones. But then later on, actually, I went to the I think it was at the gym, and I'm just in the locker room, just getting ready, getting dressed, and I hear this guy from Italy talking about being from Italy. He loves the gym. He's the first time being to the gym, and I'm like, Italy. The guy talking to him was actually from up in northern New York, and he's talking about being a business owner. So I walked around the corner where the lockers were, and I said, hey, what part of Italy are you from? He says, oh, I'm from Genoa. I'm from, oh, my wife says, and all of a sudden I go, what do you do? And he goes, well, I'm retired now. He says, what do you do? I said, are you familiar with this thing? Stem cell activation patch. The guy from northern New York said, New York State, upstate New York said, get me information on that. I got 5 different businesses. I've been looking at all kinds of stuff from a homeopathic standpoint. He signed up on Saturday, so done. I mean, so those are the kind of things you never know where you're at. If you hear something and you get a little spark, you're like, wait a minute, I want to develop business in Italy. Well, it didn't happen to be the guy in Italy. It happened to be the guy that's upstate New York. And this guy's, he's going to build this business huge. So anyway, just wanted to share just in everyday conversations, get yourself out there, go through your phones, talk to people. You never, ever know who is right around the corner. That's why we pray for divine, appointments. And so that's the part that is so excited about that. Keep your ears out, keep your antennas up, always hearing for somebody who's saying something, whatever it is. I can't tell you how many times I just want to stop and grab somebody and say, hey, what happened to you? What's going on with your legs? What's going on with this? And a lot of times I just keep on going because unfortunately, don't have the time, but we always want to make an impact in people's lives.
I just want to share what Anna shared because she said she can't speak right now. She said that the lovely ladies on her team, team members arranged for a free massage for her as a thank you for her leadership.
Wow.
And helping them is just so fun. And so, hey, you know what? When we appreciate people, it always comes back to us, so appreciate, edify your upline, appreciate them. A lot of, people are serving. We servant leaders. We're not, we taking time out. I know Anna takes time out to do meetings. I know Brendan, you're working hard with your team. Carlos, everybody on here is working hard with their teams. Robin, Lisa, no, Ricardo, Bella, everyone, every single one. Jess, I mean, I don't want to go through the list because I'm going to miss someone, but we all are helping the next person. The very fact that we actually think about someone and share the product with them is of benefit to them, and it's a blessing. So that's a great recognition, Anna, and you and Maxime are doing a great job.
Yes, we're so proud of you. Yes.
Well done for everybody in Sweden and Spain.
Yeah, and so again, I keep on saying elite SPD just because my good friend, he said to me, he goes, elite SPD, he goes, that's not a rank, is it? I said, well, no, but they offer an elite trip. So Steve and Gina raised the bar because they had all these SPDs. They got over 100 SPDs now. So they basically said, hey, we're gonna recognize people for elite SPD. So it's kind of like dangling the next carrot. We're thinking the corporation is going to actually adopt that, and they're going to probably call the next level elite SPD, which is pretty huge. So so one of the things that we always want to do more than anything else is hear from you guys. So please be sure to share more this week. Continue contacting us. Continue letting us know what's going on. We've had so many testimonials this week that has just been life changing. Wish we could share them all, but you'll be hearing more and more about them. So going back to the attitude, activity, accountability, like we mentioned before, is we want to share some information here because we want to help everybody get to the next level. And we really truly know a lot of you have the right attitude, right activity. The big game changer on this really is accountability. But we're going to talk a little bit about each of these today. And then at the very end, we'll have some time for questions, answers, some different other things and stuff like that. So one things that we always talk about, we heard this a long time ago. They said, talk about AAA. It really is your attitude that basically determines your altitude, meaning as far as the people that really rise above are the ones that, once again, have the right kind of attitude. And attitude can be a lot of different things. A lot of people, once again, I can't be around negative people too long. I mean, literally, it's like it's like, get it off me, And a lot of times I have to reapply my Teflon suit because I don't want crap to stick to me. So it's like you get around a bunch of negative people, I have to immediately shift it. But I want to talk to you about a couple things that really can determine your attitude. Obviously, the book of the month talks about vision. And so when you understand the idea of vision, we got a lot of people right now I've been working with that are right now working jobs that they are just very frustrated with their jobs. The job market right now is not fun. I'm telling you right now, we have a lot of people that are working for companies, corporations, that they have the grind on them right now. And they're like, I want out of here. And so the big attitude I told them, I said, okay, just continue telling yourself this is temporary. This is temporary. Where you're working right now is temporary. You're where you want to go, you want to focus on where you're going. And by doing that, you could be at the most around the most grumpy people with a big smile on your face going, doesn't matter. I'm not going to let your crap stick to me, right? But the attitude that you should always have is, I'm going to succeed no matter what. That is what we had. We had a picture again. You saw the picture of us being recognized with David Schmidt on stage. That was a vision that we had, a vision that we said, hey, we're gonna get senior presidential director done. So everyone on here, that's your vision. That's where you want to go. And if it's not your vision, you want to make it your vision. Trust me, SPD Life is amazing. It really is. And when you understand freedom, it really makes a big difference. So again, a lot of you on here could teach about attitude once again, but we want to make sure that you understand as you're working with people and you're helping them and basically mentoring them and teaching them and coaching them. I give course corrections when some people say stuff like I don't think I'm going to be able to win that contest. It's like, don't ever say that again. I tell them that. I said, don't ever say that again. I don't want to hear the words coming to your mouth. Say, I'm going to win. Because as soon as you say, I'm going to win, all of a sudden you got a weird feeling in your body going, did I just say that? Did I really say that? And all of a sudden you're saying, I'm going to win. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you say it over and over and over and over. And when we learned this, once again, it was something that we've learned over time, that certain things, once again, no matter what happens to you, it's how you handle it that makes all the difference. Like I said, back at the LifeWave conference that they had, the convention in Dallas, the one Jack Canfield, who wrote the book, basically talking about, once again, success principles. He talked about saying, I'm happy and I'm grateful. And then talking about what you're happy and you're grateful about and professing that every single day. We'll be at several things that we're happy and grateful for that we're professing every single day that's coming to fruition. It's not there yet, but we set a date out in the future, because he said set a date a year from now, what's going to be. And we're seeing that we're getting progression. We're actually going to hit that goal. Why do we believe we're going to hit the goal? Because every day we're saying we're happy and we're grateful for this specific thing. It's an attitude. An attitude, getting up in the morning, choosing to be positive, choosing that even if I walked down the hallway and stubbed my toe, I'm not going to let a stub toe ruin my day. Some people let that ruin their week. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever, keep moving forward, right? But the attitude I have in the morning, and I sent this out. I don't know if it was sometime this week. I don't know if everybody got it or not, but we get up in the morning and I put my feet on the edge of the bed. I don't touch my feet won't touch the floor, and I say, Lord, I said, thank you again for another day. When my feet touch the floor, I receive by faith the gift of faith, which is really what all of us want, which is this massive belief, and the anointing to prosper, and the anointing basically for healing for other people. Because again, in order to accomplish the plans and purposes you set before me since the beginning of time. That's what we do. So that's the reason why we talk to people about this, is again, what you profess and confess is what you possess, right? And your attitude can determine a lot about that. So I don't know what you wanted to say specifically about that, because I know there's one thing that she wanted to share more about.
Yeah. So when I think of attitude, I also think of emotional intelligence, because we're all going to get affected by things that come at us, whether it's some bad news, or something goes wrong, or your dishwasher breaks down, or somebody calls you up and they tell you, hey, by the way, these patches don't work. I don't think I'm going to. So is that going to determine the rest of the course of your day? Yeah. So my whole thing is, I make a decision in the morning. We can't control everything that actually happens in that day. We cannot. So we have to have an attitude that we are going to win the day. Mm-hmm. We are going to win the day. And what is really helpful for me is that I actually have already written down
Yeah.
what I want to accomplish in the day. Because if I don't have that written down, whatever's coming at me that's going to knock me out. It's going to take my attention away. It's going to take my attitude, steal my time, steal my joy, and steal away everything that I need to do for the day. So if I have it written down, these are the things, these are the meetings, I prepare the night before. The day before, I'm setting meetings for today and for the day thereafter. So I've got them scheduled. So even though stuff comes at me, I have to fulfill those. I have to still do those meetings. I can't, it's not there. I'm choosing that I am going to win my day. My day it's mine. I'm taking it. It's my day, no matter what comes at me. The other thing, obviously, that helps me with my attitude is reading. So I read my Bible. I read the book of the month, or a book that's going to feed me, that's going to give me encouragement to win this day. And then obviously think the right thoughts. I don't want to be. We're going to get bombarded by nonsense. The bottom line is,
That's true.
you just need to choose. Like it has its moment now. It came to me. Somebody said it. Okay, that doesn't need to spoil my day. I will deal with that. I will respond to them. But I've got things to do. I've got people to meet and places to go. And honestly, that's going to help you. The other thing that helps with attitudes is being engaged.
Yep.
Being
That's
engaged, Zooms, meetings, whatever it is, next level, putting on a podcast. Steve and Gina put absolutely everything together for us to win. So there's podcasts that you can listen to. You can go back and watch recorded trainings. You're going to hear things there that are going to get your attitude up again. So when you get knocked down, you're just going to get back up. You make a decision. And I would always go and find something that's going to get me there, or remind myself, hey, you know what, this happened last week. I was able to deal with that. I've got an answer for that. I'm going to deal with it. So being engaged, being around the leaders, listening to what's going on, and then also reminding yourself, hey, this kind of attitude didn't destroy you last week, and it's not going to destroy you today.
Yeah.
So keep reminding yourself how strong you are and that you have the ability to get back up again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so one thing that's great about that too is that, again, a lot of you already have habits that you're doing. That's the reason why you're here. Other people are saying, hey, you know what? I need to work on that. It's the same. I love what Ken talked about. If you weren't on the meeting last night, he talked about rating yourself, on the activity. And we're going to talk about that because he talked about, the pro system that we have, which is, P stands for patch, people every single day. And we talk about a 3-3-1, patch at least 3 people a day, meaning that you don't have to put a physical patch on them. Contact somebody specifically about the business, contact them specifically about the product itself. So once again, 3 people a day. R is revisit, basically follow up. You want to follow with people, 3 people a day, and then you want to have every one that you've talked to, the 3 and the 3, invite them to a meeting. Get eyeballs and Zooms. They talk about that. So the key to this is, once again, the activity you have. And as Mena was talking here, I was writing that down. I said, activity, the one doing the most, and it's plugged in the most wins. Meaning that if you're attending the different meetings, especially like a Saturday training and tied into the different Zooms that are going on during the week, we tie into these Zooms all the time. The reason why is that we don't need to hear the plan necessarily. We're like going, I don't understand the plan. We listen because we hear the testimonials, we hear verbiage that people are using. I wrote down a lot of things that Brendan talked about today. Do you want to change that story? I know he probably heard that from one of the people from the Renita, I think it was. Helping people accomplish their dreams. And I put down 22-year-old suffered from migraines. We talked about this once again. A lot of people think, well, I'm young, and I probably, you talk about people, you imagine that the differences you have. As Steve Merritt says, I've never shown this this brain scan to someone who hasn't wanted to use X39, which is true. So these are all things that you can utilize and hear and basically say, these are things that I can talk about when I'm sharing that specific slide, stuff like that. But the one thing that I want you to understand is that the activity is set up for you just to be consistent. And I was literally praying about this morning, and I was thinking, what's a good illustration? And all of us, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in, here in the United States, wherever you are all around the world, you literally experience, once again, traffic, right? And so the one thing I keep on thinking of is when you have an open freeway, as an example, here in the United States, our speed limit on the freeway right by us by I-75 is 70 miles an hour. Some of us drive a little faster. I won't say who, but not me. Anyway, no. So I said you're driving 70 miles an hour. But how smart would it be for you to say, you know what, I'm going to get all the way up to say 70 miles an hour, and then you're a mile down the road and you take your foot off the gas. And then you drive for a little bit and slow down, slow down, slow down. And then you say, oh, I got to put on the gas again. You put the gas on again, and you're going, I'm going to drive 100 miles that way. If you drove for, basically driving that way for like 1 minute and then took your foot off the gas, and then another minute and took your foot off the gas, and then you took your gas for a minute, put another. That's what people do in business. It's amazing how many people are consistent. I set it on cruise control. I create the habit of literally doing specific things daily to literally doing that. My wife is brilliant at literally making sure she sets it up. And it's like, if she doesn't get it done, she doesn't go to put her head, down that night. She's going to get it done. And so the part you want to think about is what a lot of people do is like, okay, they're finally getting some momentum. Things are starting to happen. They broke a manager and they're like, okay, things are going good. And they get distracted over here and they take their foot off the gas. And all of a sudden they start slowing down again. They're going, why are things happening? Why are things aren't going the way they were just a week or two ago? Because you took your foot off the gas. You want to consistently do that. Now I tell people you can go in this business 100 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour, depending on what you want to do. You can go as fast as you want. And again, I always tell people maintain whatever you can maintain. Same thing. You don't want to go 150 and then take your foot off the gas. Then go 150 again and take your foot off the gas. No, you don't want to do that. It's the same thing in anything in life. You want to create that consistency. And once again, when we talk about a 3, my number is pretty much 3. A lot of times I go more than 3, but I don't want to go below 3, if that makes sense. And so right now we're using the different sheets. I don't have mine here. I got mine upstairs. The tracking sheet that we're using for the contest specifically, writing the people down, exactly. Writing the people down on the sheet. So specifically writing people down that we're talking to, the 3 people we're talking to, following with the 3 people, making sure the list, because we're going to be adding them to the, do this. We can't win the Dash for Cash contest, but we're doing the same thing. We got our own competition going. So, So anyways, it's fun. So, but it's just, you got to have fun with it, right? And so that's the activity you want to think of. So whatever your activity, pick that activity. And if you fall short, make it up, the next day. What's so funny?
I'm just
So anyway, but we like to have fun. So again, just, anything you do to create friendly competitions or whatever is also another thing. So by the time we get done, I'd love for you guys to share about attitude, activity, some things you guys are doing, but really
but
this
just
is the big
quickly
one.
on the activity thing, the whole thing is you really need to make the decision what it is going to work for you.
Yes.
Your work day, and that's where, when we onboard someone new, we ask them, well, how much time can you actually spend doing the activities for this opportunity, and if it is half an hour, can you make 3 calls in half an hour? You got to decide that, because if you decide I can only do 2, then stay consistent with 2, and that's the whole thing where Greg is talking about the speed limit, just consistency is key, and consistency is going to give you results. And you just also need to realize, it's not 4 people. We show 4 people to go manager, but we got to talk to a lot of people to get a few people that are actually going to be doing something. If we think about all the personals that we've registered in this business, there's probably 10% of the personals we've registered that are actually, and I'm talking about personals, I'm not talking about in depth, personals that are registered by us that are actually tracking on a daily basis, that are out there leading, that are owning their own business. And so if you think about us having put in about 220 personals right now.
Yeah.
So out of that, maybe 20 people are really doing something, tracking on a daily basis,
And other people are in
I
depth.
would say probably even 5%, but hey, that's going to get you to senior presidential director, So just know it is a numbers game.
Yeah, and so that's really what it is that we want to talk a little bit more about that. But one of the things that we love doing is come up with your number, And really, the last part to this, which is the biggest thing, and I'm telling you right now, Mena, when we were talking about, what do we want to share, she immediately said, I want to talk about accountability. And once again, this is like a definition of an obligation or willingness to take responsibilities or to account for one's actions. The key to that is a lot of people have their own accountability. That's okay. When you're accountable to somebody else who's mentoring you, helping you, coaching you, or just once again, someone you're partnering with or teaming up with, and it really shouldn't be your spouse. I hate to say that, but it really should be someone that you're being accountable to. We have other people that are being accountable to us, where every day they are sending us messages. We have other people that have teams that they're doing the same thing with them. And so the one thing that we want to do is basically make sure that this is something you implement, because if you implement that in this business, you start implementing in other areas of your life, whether it's fitness goals, whether it's different things you do, habits that you have that you want to accomplish different goals, there should be an accountability partner. There's a reason why I'm a part of a group called F3, is because, again, there's guys that when I get there, they high five me, or if I tell them I bring a new person, I'm going to make sure I'm there when that new person's there. And so that's what's cool about it, is being able to be accountable is a big part of success. And so we've had accountability partners. We have people that we're talking to about what we're doing. And that's, again, even Ken sending out a message every single day during this contest, this Dash for Cash. He's basically announcing what he's doing to keep people accountable, but also using it as a training tool, which is pretty awesome. But I know you wanted to share more.
To encourage everyone,
Yeah, to
because
encourage
I mean, Ken and Diana don't really need to be doing anything. They could sit back and they're making a ton of money every
Yeah.
week. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's like, if I want to be a leader and I want people to follow me, I want them to see that I am in it with them.
Yeah.
That, we're not just here teaching or training or sharing, whichever word you want to use, but we're also in the trenches doing it, because it's learn, do, and teach. Now, I think on Saturday I said, if you look at your activity and you tell me, or we look at our activity and we say we want to be elite, are we doing what it takes to get to elite? Would we like the people that are on our team to do the kind of activity that we're doing? Is that going to give us success? So we hear this from a lot of people. Oh my gosh, I want to get senior director done in 90 days, okay, or 60 days, or whatever they said. End of this month, I want to get senior director done. But then, we don't hear from them for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And we're like, okay, well, hopefully they're getting it done, because we don't see results either. So the whole thing is when we set a goal, like we decided we were going to do this, we decided we were going to do this, and we were not going to stop even when we hit senior presidential director.
No.
And we're still doing it. And the whole reason for that is because we are accountable. We're accountable not only to like Steve and Gina, Ken and Diana, but we're accountable to every single one that's on our team. Because our accountability goes this far. Not just our senior presidential director, but to help every single one of you achieve that. Achieve manager, director, senior, executive, presidential, or senior president, whatever level you want to achieve. If you want to stay manager, then we're happy for you.
Great.
So, but that's where we are accountable. We cannot stop. We owe it to the people on our team to help them get the rank that they want to get. But then you owe it to your upline. And it may not necessarily be Greg and myself. It could be like your active upline might be Carlos, or it might be Anna, and
Brandon.
Maxime.
Yeah.
So that, or Gary, Brendan, all the different people on here. Okay. So your active upline might be someone else, and so work with your active upline. I know Rose works a lot with Rob and Lisa, and they're helping her a lot. So work with your active upline, but be accountable as well. Set the goal and stick with it. Don't quit. You don't want to quit. You want to show the people that you're all in, and that you're not giving up, because honestly, the people that are watching you on the sidelines, that may be quitting on you. They may be quitting on you, okay? And then they see you not quit, and then all of a sudden they come on board, like someone that we know that was sitting on a gold mine, 3,000 people, and he was watching us, telling us, oh, you think it's really going to work? You think it's really going to work? And now he's like, oh my gosh, how did you guys actually get that done? And now he's running. He's one away from manager.
Yeah.
And we're so excited for him because he woke up. He saw his negativity towards us was not going to stop us. So accountability is so important. And we've noticed in teamwork, it's like showing up for the game. You show up for the game. Don't say, oh, well, you know, I don't have anybody on the Zoom tonight, so I'm not going to join. You don't know who's watching to see, oh, well, is Louise going to be there tonight? Is she going to join the Zoom? Because, you know, I think if she wins, I can win too, you know, that kind of thing. So show up. Look, I'm not saying it has to be every Zoom, but at least be present. You got to be present and in it to win it.
Yeah.
Don't just sit around and watch, because I think everyone that's on here is on here because they want to win.
Yes.
And so accountability is part of winning, you know, and that's why they have coaches in sport. They have coaches for weight loss. They have coaches for all types of things, just life coaches to get ahead in life. But you have to show up in order to grow, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So again, we want to open this up because, again, we were
No,
sharing.
there was some questions which we'll answer later, but let's open up.
Yeah, because I want to open up because if anybody wants to share something that they're doing or something that they're using for the attitude, activity, accountability. I know for me, praise and worship music is big for me. I put on music that basically is energetic and exciting first thing in the morning. My wife likes to be silent, so I usually put headphones on, or sometimes I'm in the, I'm taking a shower in the bathroom or whatever. I get in my car and all of a sudden.
Well, I take time to pray and read
Yeah.
the scriptures, and I don't want noise in my head.
Yeah, but whatever it is that you do. So I'd love for anybody to mute and say, what are some things you're doing that's helping you in these different areas of attitude, activity, and accountability? We'd love to hear from you as far as some thoughts that you have.
Okay. So I think on the attitude side of things, I think, again, also with the X39, the benefits, I think it also just helps you have a better frame of mind. And I think for me, when people are negative about it, I actually laugh, and it is actually funny because the reality of it is that they are missing out. And, you can't actually feel some type of way about it. At the end of the day, when you say that you're going to partner with someone, you're going to invest your time to help them succeed, that's a big commitment. You're not, normally people get paid to consult for 1 hour. When we're saying that we're going to partner with you, help you establish a business and make you successful, that's a big commitment that we take on to do. And, people must really understand that. And if people want to laugh at you or say that the patch doesn't work or, just have some negative thing about it, it is funny to me because, again, it's a lack of mental clarity and they must just get on the patch. And that's the bare minimum that you can ask someone to at least do. If you really don't believe it's gonna work, at least try it for 6 months. At least try it for 3 months. 97% of people see results. At least give it a go. But it's I think that attitude thing, I think it is very important because anything negative, it's only negative because you think it's negative. At the end of the day, we're all these people on this big rock floating in space. So your problems are actually not that big because, in 100 years, no one's going to remember you unless you make an impact. So you only die when your name is spoken for the last time. So how many people are you going to impact that are going to remember you? With X39, that impact can spread far and wide. So I just really, really love it. So that I would say.
Yeah, and Brendan, we've worked together very closely, and it's like his bounce back rate is like that. It's like I always say, "What's your bounce back rate?" I mean, that some people get a no, and it takes them out for a day or a week. I mean, it's crazy. And him, it's like, okay, next, let's just work on the next person, which is the attitude you want to have. And it wasn't always like that. So it's the same thing that once again, at first you're like, oh, that person said no. I thought for sure they're going to do something with it, and all of a sudden, you can find someone who does. And so really, thinking about that, what's your bounce back rate? How quickly can you bounce back from something negative that happens? So, love to anybody else share. We got 5 minutes.
Yeah, we just have a question that we need to answer as well. So
Okay.
if there's no one else to share, we'll just go to the question.
Oh, Carlos, please.
I wanted to share something that when Brendan was talking about that, of keeping yourself up and motivated. I think one of the things that happens when we say no, when somebody says no to us, it doesn't mean no never. It just means no today. And we have to remember that not everybody is in buying mode when we're ready to sell. So it's very important to make sure that it's a long term, it's not a today thing, because people will see over time when this will be a good fit for them. It doesn't mean that it today has to be a good fit. It might be a good fit for us today, and we don't like to hear the no. But the second thing is, if a no makes such a big impact on you, because I have another business and we sell payroll and HR. Okay, so we get tons of no's. Nobody wants to do that, right? And the most important thing is, if you're getting you're by default, you should be getting a ton of no's, right? Because you're moving a lot, and every time you're getting a no, you're closer to that yes. And there is a book about that. The closer to that yes, the more no's you get, the closer to that yes. But a no today doesn't mean a no never. It just means not today. I'm not there today. I may have other things going on. Just keep moving. That's what I always keep on going, because I get a tons of no's, or people that are ghosting, or people who aren't ready. The ghosting is the worst one. I'd rather somebody tell me no than when they just disappear and you don't hear anything back. But I just think it's an activity, right? You have to have a lot of activity. That way it doesn't throw you off.
100% agree. And being in sales and stuff like that, the number 3 is pretty tiny. I mean, so we're always saying this is something you're doing on the side of what you're doing. That's why we set the number as a low number. Where you could do 10 a day, 15 a day, whatever the number you want. And again, sometimes it's a consistent amount of whatever you can do. But the key to it is true consistency. And Carlos, you're 100% right. It really is an attitude of okay. And it's not like next. It's sort of like okay. Great, no problem. Hey, if something changes, let me know. And that's really, it's so funny, because when someone does that, it's like, okay, I'm off to the next person. I want to help the next person. And a lot of times we pray for people. Say, Lord, if they're meant to be a part of our team, burden their heart.
Yeah.
Especially when we know they're making some sort of goofy excuse, but just like anything else.
Yeah.
That's great though. So thank you, Carlos. So Johan, yes, please share.
Yes, yeah. I've been with LifeWave now for about 7 months. With the help of Brendan, I signed up Sandra, and then for a long time it was quiet. And I'm every day, I've got a telephone list that goes to the wall. I'm quite fond of cold calling. I don't mind calling people out of the blue. And for months, nothing happens. Right. And then last week, I was supposed to actually jump on a Zoom call with Brandon, and then I had to go see a client. So I gave her the application. She's mulling it over, but she wants to go into the call pack. So, but that's what I wanted to say. I had about 4 sales, 2 over the counters that they don't want to subscribe anything, and then 2 that actually is in the process of signing up. And just that, let's call it back and forth movement, it just boosts you for the next one. So yeah, don't give up. The sales are out there.
That's right. Yeah. And that's one thing I love what Ken was talking. He said, we're really not, what did he say? He said a salesman. He said,
We're
sharesman.
Chairmanship. But just quickly, the reason why we're talking about sales here, but here we have something that we're sharing with people. Every single person needs it.
Yeah.
Like stem cells. Okay. Like you might be selling insurance, and there's a wide array of different life insurance people or more short-term insurance people. We have, this is exclusive to us.
Yeah.
And everybody has stem cells. Even in the presentation, Brendan showed the little doggies that need to wear the patches. Yeah. So there, we have billions of people that need stem cells, and David Schmidt's thing is get this into 1 billion homes, and we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
So for me, I see this as like the numbers of people that will say yes. I mean, we do get a lot of no's, but the numbers of people that will say yes is far greater than normal sales, because people are curious. They've never seen anything like this. And you know what? It's affordable and it's changing people's lives when they see the testimonies. And that's the whole thing, is share 1 or 2 testimonies. Don't go in like, you know, hey, by the way, you need to wear this. You need to wear this. People want to know why. They don't understand. And if sometimes they're saying no to something that they don't really understand.
Yeah.
So that's my share. But I just quickly wanted to touch on, because we have to, we're
Yes,
over
we-
time.
yeah, but go ahead. What was the question?
So the question is, I meet many people, they are skeptic and they find it expensive. This is Louise, many of mine have used it for 3 months and then they want to stop. I have great benefit and I just want them to understand the greatness of skeptical. We do encounter a lot of people that are skeptics, especially stand
We were all
healing.
skeptical.
You know, everybody says, how can a little patch actually help me? So the whole thing is to know, you said it's working for you, you know, so you understand. It's like sometimes you want to share a diet or a way of eating that's working for you, and the person says, I don't think so, or whatever. You know, we don't let that put us off. On the 3-month issue, it's great that you're getting them started on 3 months. Good, that's amazing. And, you know, we have a lot of people that have started on the 3 months and then they fall off. And guess what? Just this last week, we heard of 2 people that came back screaming,
Yeah.
I want to get back on the patch. I want to get back on the patch, because sometimes they don't realize they've lived so long with the issue that they don't even realize the help they're getting. And then when they get off the patch, they realize, oh my gosh, that was really helping me there.
Yes.
So we don't really, you know, we do have people that have gone off it. We do have people that use it only for 3 months. We do have people that are skeptical. We have all sorts, and you're not alone. You're really not alone. All I'm going to say is you just keep wearing it and you just keep sharing it. And you know what? You are going to find the people that are saying, oh my goodness, look what this is doing. You are going to find the people that come back to you. And just remember, for everyone that is building, for everyone that wants to see results in this business, it is 20 personals on your
Yes,
left
that's one last thing I
and
should share.
20 personals on your right. If you have not put in 40 personals yet,
Yes. Yep.
then you have to do that.
Yeah.
It was when we did that, Steve and Gina Merritt said, Mena and Greg, 20 personals on your left and 20 personals on your right. And we like, okay.
In the next 90 days.
We didn't even talk to them before we put 20 on the left and 20 personals right, because we hadn't done what they told us to do. And what were we going to say? Oh, well, people are not happy. People are not excited. People are not building. We don't have builders. They were going to tell us, did you do 20 personals left, 20 personals right? If you have not done that, my recommendation is look at how many personals you have and get it done. Get it done. That is why we are next level leaders. Get it done.
It's a little more than 90 days to, obviously, when you look at the function that's coming up. So if I look at, April, May, June, even the next 3 months, that would be a great thing to do, is over the next 90 days to say, you know what? I don't care how many people I've already got in. I'm going to put 20 people right, 20 people left. I've had some people that say, well, that seems like a lot of people. I'm going, compared to what? When you talk about all the people you're talking to, if you're talking to 3 people a day, again, that's 90 people basically in the course of a month. And again, really, we look at over 270 people in the course of 3 months. If you talk to people the right way and the proper way, you'd be amazed at what happens. And so it's really an attitude. It's going, you know, this is what we're going to do. And we didn't just do it one time. We did it again, and we did it again, and we did it again. So again, that's the part that we tell people about all the time. Say, if you really want to take this business to the next level, this is what we recommend. And being accountable to us or the leaders you're working with and saying, you know what, I got a new person, I've got this next one, I got this next one. Because it really, that's where the rubber meets the road, because you say, you know what, you got intentionality to really build things the right way. You put one right, one left, one right, one left, one right, one left. And you start doing that, you'll start seeing the focus of that. A lot of people focus on manager, which is great. But again, below past that, and make sure you understand, you can start breaking managers like this. And that's what starts happening, you know, in depth. So again, we don't want to belabor that, but that's one thing that we're going to be talking about consistently. You'll never see Steve and Gina on a Saturday morning not talk about that. They talk about it every single time. They talk about, you want to put 20 right, 20 left, because you want to make sure that people understand that's really what sets things ablaze and really gets things running. Because down the road, several years from now, you're going to talk to people. We've run into people all the time that basically now we're in the patch. And it's pretty amazing. I had a guy who actually was at a store, contacted the person in the line, and the teller across from them talking about this. Oh, you talking about X39? He goes, well, yeah. She goes, oh, yeah, I've been using the patch as well. I mean, it's like total random. Someone actually, it was actually here in Gainesville, Florida, which is pretty crazy. So, but that's stuff you never know. So besides that, we're over time. So we're always
Yes.
finish in prayer. If you got to jump off, like I said, we're Christians. We always want to pray for people for blessings. And again, I would love for Mena to close
Yeah,
us
I
out
just
with
want to
prayer.
say, Louise,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Anyway, so
We're
just
all,
keep
yes,
going.
absolutely.
Keep going.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Anna, thank you for sharing that too. That's
Yes.
absolutely right.
So, and by the way, next week, same time, we're here. If you need to reach us,
Yeah.
reach anybody who's your upline, please feel free. I know they won't say no to
And
helping
don't shy
you.
away from accountability. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
right now, let us know what we can do to help out. And we're only going to guide, direct, and encourage. That's all we do.
Enjoy your massage, Anna.
Yes.
So we're going to pray just a blessing over everybody. If you want to jump off, yeah, goodbye and see you next week. So thank you, Lord, for this time that we can share together and just, Lord, be a blessing to each other. Every one of us is a special blessing and has a plan and purpose that only we are going to fulfill in this life. So we thank you, Father, for the wisdom to do that, for the energy, the ability, the stickability, Lord, to stay in and be people of impact, Lord, to make a great impact, because that's what you have called for us to be. We pray for every family that is present here, for the teams that are represented here, every single team, Lord, explosive blessing and growth for every single one of them, Lord, and that the right people will come to their business and be a blessing to them. So, Father, we thank you that you'll continue to bless our days further and our evenings, and that as we go out there and share, people will see the light that is in us, that is showing and shining bright to those around them. So we thank you for all of this. Pray for David Schmidt, and this is a team and all the leaders, Father, a blessing over them and the business, Lord. We ask this in your name. We pray. Amen.
In Jesus' name. Amen. Awesome. Bless you guys. Have an amazing week. Brendan, again, phenomenal job. So absolutely fantastic. Again, everybody,
And
let
thank you
us know.
to everyone who shared. We appreciate. We learn from each other.
We do, yeah.
We never ever we take away lots of nuggets. So thank you. And
Mm-hmm.
the recording will be up.
Yep. In just a little bit. I'll be sending that to everybody. So Maxime, great to see you too. I know you're
Yes.
working
You gotta
hard.
get in touch with
Yeah,
me.
we're gonna be setting
Set up
on
a meeting.
Zoom, so let's
Louise,
connect. So yes.
great to see you on camera.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Yes. God bless you. Great to see everybody. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of you in person, which is going to be fun. We're starting to set up different trips and stuff like that. We'll be hearing more about those very, very soon. So God bless you.
Have a good night,
Have a
everyone.
great night. Talk to you real soon.
Good
Love you.
afternoon.
Good
Bye.
afternoon.